At 89, I walk faster than some men in their 50s. Yesterday, I climbed 3 flights of stairs without breathlessness. This morning, I walked 2 miles through mountain paths that challenge men half my age. But this strength didn't come by accident, and it certainly wasn't luck. At 89, I walk faster than some men in their 50s. Yesterday, I climbed 3 flights of stairs without breathlessness. This morning, I walked 2 miles through mountain paths that challenge men half my age. But this strength didn't come by accident, and it certainly wasn't luck. I achieved this because I stopped making the same devastating mistakes that most elders repeat every single day, often without realizing the damage they're causing to their own bodies. In my temple, we have an ancient saying: strength is lost not in one dramatic moment, but in 1,000 unnoticed choices that compound like drops of water slowly carving through stone. Today, I want to completely transform how you think about leg strength after 60. I'm going to reveal the hidden truth that most doctors won't tell you, and that most elders discover too late. There are 5 specific mistakes that gradually but relentlessly weaken your legs after 60. These mistakes are insidious because they disguise themselves as harmless habits. Some even masquerade as healthy behaviors that well-meaning family members encourage. But here's what's truly frightening. These mistakes don't just weaken your muscles. They drain your life force, shrink your independence, confuse your body's natural healing mechanisms, and rob you of the confidence to move freely through the world. I have witnessed strong men become prisoners in their own homes because of mistake number 3. I've seen vibrant women lose their balance and their courage because they unknowingly practiced these destructive patterns. But I've also seen the miraculous transformation that happens when these mistakes are corrected. I've watched 75-year-olds regain the spring in their step. I've observed 80-year-olds rediscover the joy of walking without fear. So listen with complete attention, because your legs are not just waiting for change, they're crying out for it. Every day you delay correction, the path back to strength becomes more challenging. But it's never impossible. The first mistake seems so innocent, so necessary, that most people never question it. They believe that rest equals recovery, that sitting equals healing. This couldn't be further from the truth. The first mistake seems so innocent, so necessary, that most people never question it. They believe that rest equals recovery, that sitting equals healing. This couldn't be further from the truth. When you sit for extended periods, whether you're watching television, reading, working at a desk, or simply passing time in a chair, something devastating happens to your leg muscles that most people never see coming. Your quadriceps, the powerful muscles at the front of your thighs, begin to atrophy within just 30 minutes of continuous sitting. Your glutes, the largest and most important muscles in your body, literally shut down and go into what scientists call gluteal amnesia. Your calves stop pumping blood effectively, causing dangerous pooling in your lower extremities. But the damage goes much deeper than muscle weakness. When blood pools in your legs during prolonged sitting, several cascading problems occur simultaneously. First, lymphatic fluid accumulates, causing that heavy, swollen feeling in your feet and ankles. Second, your joints become stiff and lose their natural lubrication. Third, your nervous system begins to forget how to properly coordinate movement patterns. Here's the most insidious part. The longer you sit, the more tired you feel when you finally do move. This creates a vicious cycle where inactivity breeds more inactivity, weakness breeds more weakness, and fatigue breeds more fatigue. In my temple, we understand this principle deeply. We monks spend many hours in seated meditation, but we learned centuries ago that the mind cannot be still if the body is stagnating. We discovered a simple but powerful practice that completely prevents the devastating effects of prolonged sitting. Every 25 minutes, and I want you to remember this exact timing, we rise from our seated position. We don't just stand, we activate. We stretch our arms toward the sky, awakening our spine. We march in place for 30 seconds, reactivating our leg muscles. We perform gentle hip circles, remobilizing our joints. We tap our thighs vigorously, stimulating blood flow and nerve response. This entire activation sequence takes exactly 90 seconds. just 90 seconds every 25 minutes. Yet this simple practice reverses approximately 70% of the damage caused by prolonged sitting. More importantly, it prevents the accumulation of damage that leads to permanent weakness. You don't need to abandon rest or comfort. You simply need to interrupt stagnation with purposeful movement. Your legs are designed for intermittent activation, not continuous dormancy. Remember, every time you sit for more than 30 minutes without activation, you're making a withdrawal from your strength account. But every time you rise and activate, you're making a deposit. The choice is always yours. The second mistake is one that creeps into most elders' lives so gradually that they never recognize its devastating impact. It begins with good intentions, the desire for comfort, ease of digestion, or convenience. But it ends with profound weakness that affects every step you take. The second mistake is one that creeps into most elders' lives so gradually that they never recognize its devastating impact. It begins with good intentions, the desire for comfort, ease of digestion, or convenience. But it ends with profound weakness that affects every step you take. Most elders gradually transition to soft, processed, easily chewable foods, white bread that dissolves in your mouth, instant porridge that requires no effort to consume, processed cereals that turn to mush, refined pasta, and bland soups. These foods seem harmless, even sensible for aging digestive systems. But here's the hidden truth that most nutritionists overlook. These foods contain virtually no muscle-building fuel. They're nutritional wastelands that fill your stomach while starving your muscles. Your leg muscles require 4 specific categories of nutrients to maintain strength and function. First, complete proteins that provide all essential amino acids for muscle repair and growth. Second, bioavailable minerals like magnesium, potassium, and zinc that enable proper muscle contraction and nerve communication. Third, complex carbohydrates that provide sustained energy for movement. Fourth, healthy fats that reduce inflammation and support hormone production. Soft, processed foods provide none of these in adequate amounts. Instead, they flood your system with refined sugars that cause inflammation, depleted nutrients that stress your organs, and empty calories that promote fat storage while muscle wastes away. In my temple, we follow an ancient nutritional principle. Food should require effort to consume, for the effort awakens the body's power to utilize nutrients. Our meals consist of chewy root vegetables like burdock and daikon radish that require vigorous chewing. We consume dense, fibrous grains like millet, barley, and brown rice that demand digestive energy. We eat fermented foods like aged tofu and miso that provide living enzymes and beneficial bacteria. But here's something most people don't understand. The act of chewing itself is crucial for leg strength. When you chew vigorously, you activate the trigeminal nerve, which sends signals throughout your nervous system. These signals stimulate the production of growth hormone, enhance muscle protein synthesis, and improve overall metabolic function. Dense, nutrient-rich foods also require more energy to digest, which naturally increases your metabolic rate. This higher metabolism provides more energy for movement and helps maintain healthy body composition. Your muscles receive a steady stream of high-quality nutrients instead of the blood sugar spikes and crashes that come from soft, processed foods. Furthermore, challenging foods help maintain cognitive function. The coordination required for proper chewing stimulates brain regions responsible for balance, coordination, and movement planning, all crucial for strong, stable legs. I want you to understand this principle. Soft foods create soft bodies. Dense, challenging foods create dense, strong bodies. Every meal is an opportunity to either feed your strength or feed your weakness. Start incorporating foods that fight back, nuts that require cracking, vegetables that demand cutting, grains that need cooking, proteins that require chewing. Your jaw will strengthen, your digestion will improve, and most importantly, your legs will receive the fuel they desperately need. This third mistake is what I call the silent assassin of leg strength, and it's the one I see destroying more elders' independence than any other single factor. It's the mistake that well-meaning family members often encourage, that doctors sometimes recommend, and that society generally accepts as sensible, but it's absolutely devastating. This third mistake is what I call the silent assassin of leg strength, and it's the one I see destroying more elders' independence than any other single factor. It's the mistake that well-meaning family members often encourage, that doctors sometimes recommend, and that society generally accepts as sensible, but it's absolutely devastating. Most elders receive the same advice from everyone around them. Take the elevator, it's safer. Use the escalator, it's easier. Avoid stairs whenever possible to prevent falls. And so they do, every single day, for years, until one day they realize they can no longer climb stairs even when they want to. Here's what happens when you consistently avoid stairs. Your quadriceps muscles begin to atrophy rapidly because stair climbing is one of the few daily activities that truly challenges these crucial muscles. Your glutes, which are essential for power and stability, literally forget how to fire properly. Your hip flexors tighten and weaken simultaneously, creating a dangerous combination that destroys your walking pattern. But the damage goes far beyond individual muscles. Your proprioception, your body's ability to sense its position in space, deteriorates rapidly when you stop navigating uneven surfaces and varying heights. Your balance reactions slow down because they're no longer being challenged and refined. Your confidence in your own movement capabilities plummets, creating a psychological barrier that becomes harder to overcome than the physical limitations. Most tragically, your cardiovascular system loses its ability to handle the increased demands of climbing. Your heart becomes deconditioned, your breathing becomes shallow and inefficient, and what should be a normal daily activity becomes an exhausting ordeal. I've watched this progression destroy countless lives. Strong, independent people gradually become fearful, dependent, and housebound because they avoided the very activity that could have preserved their strength and confidence. In my temple, we use an ancient method called the half-step climb that allows even the most cautious elders to safely maintain and rebuild their stair climbing ability. This technique acknowledges the genuine safety concerns while refusing to surrender to weakness. Here's exactly how you practice the half-step climb. First, approach the stairs with complete mindfulness and respect. Never rush. Place one hand firmly on the railing. This is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. Step up with your stronger leg first, allowing it to bear the full weight while the weaker leg follows. Pause completely on each step. Feel your balance. Breathe deeply, then proceed to the next step. The key is not speed, but consistency. Start with just 3 steps, then return to ground level. Practice this sequence twice daily. Each week, add one additional step until you can confidently navigate a full flight. But here's the crucial insight. You're not just climbing stairs. You're retraining your entire neuromuscular system. You're rebuilding confidence. You're proving to yourself that you can handle challenges. You're maintaining the strength and balance that will keep you independent for decades to come. The benefits extend far beyond stair climbing itself. People who regularly practice stair climbing maintain better bone density, superior cardiovascular health, stronger core muscles, and most importantly, the psychological resilience that comes from regularly facing and overcoming challenges. Just 3 minutes per day of mindful stair practice can preserve muscle mass that would otherwise disappear forever. It maintains joint mobility that drugs cannot restore. It builds confidence that no amount of physical therapy can replace. Don't fear the stairs. Respect them. Approach them wisely, but never ever avoid them completely. Your independence depends on it. The fourth mistake reveals a profound misunderstanding about how the body recovers and regenerates. Most people collapse into bed at night without giving any thought to how they position their bodies for optimal healing. They lie flat, prop up their heads with pillows, and wonder why they wake up stiff, swollen, and tired. The fourth mistake reveals a profound misunderstanding about how the body recovers and regenerates. Most people collapse into bed at night without giving any thought to how they position their bodies for optimal healing. They lie flat, prop up their heads with pillows, and wonder why they wake up stiff, swollen, and tired. Here's what most people don't realize. Your legs are hydraulic systems that accumulate tremendous amounts of fluid, metabolic waste, and inflammatory substances throughout the day. Gravity constantly pulls this accumulated material downward, creating pressure, swelling, and toxicity that your body must clear during sleep. When you simply lie flat without proper leg positioning, several devastating things happen. First, the accumulated lymphatic fluid has no assistance in returning to your core circulation system. Second, your joints remain compressed from the day's activities without any decompression relief. Third, inflammatory waste products continue to circulate in your leg tissues instead of being flushed out. The result is that you wake up feeling like your legs are filled with concrete. Your knees ache from unrelieved pressure. Your ankles are swollen from fluid retention. Your muscles feel tight and unresponsive because they've been marinating in their own waste products all night. But there's an even more insidious problem. Poor leg positioning disrupts your sleep quality, which impairs the growth hormone release that's essential for muscle repair and regeneration. You're not just missing an opportunity for recovery, you're actively preventing it. In my temple, we practice an ancient ritual called elevating the river that completely transforms nighttime recovery. Each evening, without exception, I position my legs in a way that harnesses gravity for healing instead of allowing it to create stagnation. Here's the exact technique. 30 minutes before sleep, I lie on my back and raise my legs against a wall or on a stack of pillows, creating approximately a 45-degree angle. I remain in this position for exactly 7 minutes while practicing deep, rhythmic breathing. During these 7 minutes, extraordinary things happen in your body. The accumulated lymphatic fluid begins flowing rapidly back toward your core circulation, reducing swelling and inflammation. Your joints decompress, allowing healing nutrients to penetrate cartilage and connective tissue. Your nervous system shifts into recovery mode, releasing tension patterns that have accumulated throughout the day. But the benefits extend far beyond immediate relief. This practice dramatically improves your sleep quality because your body doesn't have to work against fluid retention and inflammation during the night. You wake up feeling genuinely refreshed instead of stiff and groggy. The lymphatic drainage alone is worth the 7-minute investment. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like your cardiovascular system. It relies entirely on movement and positioning to function properly. When you elevate your legs, you're giving this crucial detoxification system the assistance it desperately needs. Furthermore, this practice helps regulate your nervous system's transition from the sympathetic fight-or-flight state to the parasympathetic rest and repair state. The gentle inversion calms your mind while optimizing your body's natural healing processes. I want you to understand this. The body heals magnificently during sleep, but only when you provide the optimal conditions for that healing to occur. Proper leg positioning is not a luxury. It's a necessity for anyone who wants to wake up stronger than they went to bed. Try this practice tonight. Position your legs, breathe deeply, and pay attention to how different you feel in the morning. Your legs will thank you with improved flexibility, reduced swelling, and increased energy for the day ahead. Mistake 5. Believing it's just age. This fifth mistake is the most heartbreaking of all because it transforms from a simple thought into a self-fulfilling prophecy that destroys more lives than any physical limitation ever could. It's the mistake that turns temporary weakness into permanent disability, minor challenges into insurmountable obstacles, and vibrant elders into defeated shadows of their former selves. I cannot count the number of people who have visited my temple with the same devastating declaration. My legs are weak, Monk Hanzo, but that's just normal. I'm getting old. This is what happens when you reach my age. I need to accept reality. This breaks my heart because it's not reality. It's a lie that society tells elders, that elders tell themselves, and that becomes more powerful than any physical limitation. Let me share something that will transform your understanding. I have trained alongside 93-year-olds who climb mountain paths barefoot. I have practiced with 87-year-old women who can balance on one leg for over a minute. I have witnessed 95-year-old men who can rise from the floor without using their hands. These people are not genetic anomalies. They are not unusually blessed. They are simply people who never accepted the lie that aging equals inevitable weakness. The difference between vibrant elders and declining elders is not genetics, luck, or favorable circumstances. The difference is belief. The difference is the story they tell themselves about what's possible. When you say, "I can't do that anymore," your nervous system listens and immediately begins shutting down the neural pathways required for that activity. When you say, "I'm too old for that," your muscles receive the signal to stop adapting and growing. When you declare, "This is just age," your body surrenders its remarkable capacity for regeneration and improvement. This is not metaphysical nonsense. This is documented science. Your beliefs directly influence your gene expression, hormone production, neuroplasticity, and muscle protein synthesis. Negative beliefs about aging literally accelerate the aging process, while positive beliefs about continued capability literally slow it down. But here's what's truly exciting. This process works in reverse. When you begin to believe that improvement is possible, that strength can be regained, that vitality can be restored, your body immediately begins reorganizing itself to match that belief. I have seen this transformation countless times. A 78-year-old man visits my temple, convinced his weakness is permanent. Within 3 months of changing his beliefs and practices, he's hiking trails he hadn't attempted in decades. A 71-year-old woman arrives barely able to climb stairs. 6 months later, she's teaching yoga to people half her age. The key is understanding that your current limitations are not permanent sentences. They're temporary conditions created by temporary choices. Every day, your body creates millions of new cells. Every week, your muscles can grow stronger. Every month, your balance can improve. Every year, your overall vitality can increase. But none of this happens if you've convinced yourself that decline is inevitable. None of this happens if you've accepted weakness as your new normal. None of this happens if you believe the lie that aging equals helplessness. I want you to perform a simple but powerful exercise right now. Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "I can't yet." Instead of saying, "I'm too old," say, "I'm learning new ways." Instead of saying, "This is just age," say, "This is just my starting point." These subtle changes in language create profound changes in your neurology. They shift you from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. They transform you from a victim of aging to an active participant in your own vitality. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every strong person was once weak. Every confident person was once afraid. The only difference between those who improve and those who decline is the decision to believe that improvement is possible. Your age is not your limitation. Your beliefs about your age are your only limitation. Change your beliefs, and you change your biology. Change your story, and you change your strength. Final message. As we reach the end of our time together, I want you to understand something profound. Your legs do not weaken overnight, like a sudden accident or unexpected injury. No, they weaken slowly, gradually, almost imperceptibly, under the accumulated weight of countless small choices that seem harmless in the moment, but compound into devastating weakness over time. They weaken from sitting too long without movement, allowing blood to pool and muscles to atrophy. They weaken from consuming soft, processed foods that starve your muscles while filling your stomach. They weaken from avoiding challenges like stairs that would keep them strong and capable. They weaken from ignoring recovery practices that would help them heal and regenerate. And most destructively, they weaken from the belief that weakness is inevitable, that decline is normal, that you are powerless to change your trajectory. But now you see these mistakes clearly. Now you understand their hidden destruction. Now you have the knowledge to stop them before they steal another day of your strength, another moment of your independence, another opportunity for vitality. Even at 89 years old, I walk with power and confidence. Not because I won some genetic lottery, not because I've been blessed with unusual circumstances, but because I have learned to watch my daily habits with the vigilance of a guardian protecting something precious. Because I understand that strength is not a gift that some receive and others don't. It's a practice that anyone can cultivate at any age. You have the same capacity within you right now. You have the same potential for transformation that every strong elder before you has possessed. The only question is whether you'll use it. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more motivated or when circumstances are perfect. Start today by correcting just one mistake. Choose the one that resonates most strongly with you, the one that you recognize most clearly in your own life. Perhaps you'll set a timer to rise and activate every 25 minutes. Perhaps you'll add one challenging food to your next meal. Perhaps you'll practice 3 steps on the nearest staircase. Perhaps you'll elevate your legs tonight before sleep. Perhaps you'll simply change the words you use to describe your capabilities. Then, when that first change becomes natural and automatic, add another. Then another. Build momentum slowly but consistently, like water gradually carving through stone. Soon, sooner than you might imagine possible, you'll feel it happening. The return of strength in muscles you thought were permanently weakened. The restoration of balance you believed was forever lost. The renewal of confidence you assumed was gone for good. The revival of the joy that comes from moving freely through the world without fear or limitation. This is not false hope or empty encouragement. This is the natural result of aligning your daily choices with your body's remarkable capacity for adaptation and growth. This is what happens when you stop feeding weakness and start feeding strength. I am Monk Hanzo, and these are the mistakes I once made in my younger years, before I understood their devastating cumulative power, but no more. For decades now, I have practiced the opposite of these mistakes, and my legs have rewarded me with strength, stability, and the profound satisfaction that comes from taking responsibility for my own vitality. Now it is your turn to walk this wiser path. Your legs are waiting. Your strength is waiting. Your best years may very well be waiting just ahead, ready to unfold when you give them the foundation they need to flourish. The choice, as always, is entirely yours. But now you have the knowledge to choose wisely. Use it well.